What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another Slab Stocks live show here on the Slab Stocks YouTube channel, Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. My name is Aaron, joined by Nate, here for another episode, of course, as always. And today we are talking about the most important sports cards to watch in April, because we've got some playoff action starting in April, both between the NBA and the NHL. So very excited about that. Most of the first discussion will be about the NBA play-in tournament. Nate prepared us a sweet section, I believe. And then I'll talk about NHL for a little bit, just for those of you who do like hockey talk. But of course, Greg, our puck drop host, is the one that hosts the bi-weekly hockey show. So we're going to jump right into this. Nate, we can start talking about the play-in. Hector and Alexandra, what is up? Good to see you all here. And excited to start looking at some cards from the play-in tournament. Here we go.
Yeah. So let's get into it a little bit. Top players to watch from each play-in team, yada, yada, yada. Let's start with the Lakers. We all know what LeBron James and Anthony Davis are going to go. For me, anyways, we know what LeBron James and Anthony Davis are going to do, right? They've been doing it for years. You know what they're going to put up. So for me, the wild card is D'Angelo Russell. He was a Laker. He's now back on the Lakers. In his 17 games, he averaged 17 points a game and added in 6 assists. So I am mostly curious about him more than anybody else on the team. He's been there the least, essentially. He has the third largest role. And now you need to see him do well, because I don't know if the Lakers team is deep enough with just LeBron and Anthony Davis. So they're going to need third fiddle D'Angelo Russell to do well. As for card prices, you can actually, this just sold the other day, March 27th, Sapphire PSA 9 with an authentic auto selling for $433, whereas the PSA authentic with the auto 10 sold for $350 back in July. I don't necessarily know if that's a rise. I think I'd rather have the PSA 9 with the authentic auto. Definitely. But I also think that the patch is a little bit cooler on the other one with the angle of the number there.
Not to mention the overall basketball market has definitely dropped since last July. So to see a price that's even higher than that in general is good to see. And I'd agree with you. I mean, the only thing I guess I'd say is you said we're going to get with LeBron AD, which is true if they're playing. Let's hope for the Lakers' sake, if you're a Lakers fan, that doesn't come down to one of these guys missing some of the playoffs if they do get into the 7 or 8 seed, which I'd say, Rudy Gobert, I don't know if you saw us, Nate, the T-Wolves are suspending him for the Lakers game tomorrow. Yep. So T-Wolves are without
jumping the gun a bit on the next one, but it's all good.
Oops. And then so the Lakers will be hosting the Wolves in this game. I imagine the Lakers will probably win that game. Would kind of be shocked if they don't, but you never know. Anthony Edwards might go out for 40 plus and see something pretty crazy there, but we'll have to see. Tell us who's next.
Yeah, so next up is the Timberwolves, and you can see here Karl-Anthony Towns. Did I want to talk about Karl-Anthony Towns? I did not, but with Naz Reid, their backup center, who is now out because of the fractured left wrist that he suffered end of March, and Rudy Gobert, who is now out because of suspension, that leaves no true center, which means I feel as though Karl-Anthony Towns is probably going to have to be playing center and guarding, and Anthony Davis. It just doesn't seem like it's going to go well for the Timberwolves if I were a betting man. So that is why Karl-Anthony Towns is our guy in the last year. His Prism Silver is down 42%, and he really needs to show up big time if this Timberwolves team, without any true centers, is going to beat this Lakers team. I just don't see it happening.
Funny enough, the Wolves went from kind of too much size to now not enough size within like a couple weeks. I was actually watching that Wolves. I think they were playing the Suns because it's on ESPN. I was watching that Wolves Suns game when Reed actually hurt himself. I think he was going for a dunk and he fell, and then it didn't really look like he fractured his wrist. Like he was holding it right. You could tell he hurt himself. But he went to the free throw line, shot both free throws. I don't even think he came out of the game either after he shot them. So to fracture your wrist and need surgery after not really being able to tell a guy even broke his wrist is pretty crazy. Tony, what is up? Links, what's up? Tech, thank you so much for sending out some cards for our next SGC submission. I'll actually be talking about that coming up here. And Tim, How are you doing? Good to see you as well. I'm excited to see what the T-Wolves can do. Of course, it'll be difficult, I'm sure, to beat the Lakers, but they do get that second game, and the second game would be at home. It'd either be against the Pelicans, who they just beat the other day, or yesterday actually, or it'd be against the Thunder, whichever team comes out of that game. So we'll see what happens there. Nate, I guess I'll actually reserve it for the end because I know you have some predictions to make. So
Yes. Next up is Pelicans. Not going to spend much time on this. It's really a matchup centric thing here for the Pelicans. Zion not close to being healthy is the new report. So you pretty much know what you're going to get out of CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram. It comes down to Valanciunas. Sometimes big guys like this are unplayable, and sometimes because they just get picked apart by smaller, quicker guys. And sometimes they're very playable. I'll be curious to see how he does. Here is his Prism base. We don't really actually need to discuss the prices here. I just threw it up there. And the reason I'm curious about this is because what I'm curious about with the Thunder and what you have on the Thunder side is Poku.
Wait. You're telling me you don't want to talk about 4% increase on Valanciunas' 2012 Prism based PSA 10, Nate?
I know it's shocking, but I will sacrifice not talking about that this time.
I'm just messing with you.
I know. So you got Poku right here. Nice little mosaic white out of 25, $90. And Jalen Williams, elite, like number to 17 out of $44. I don't know what the color is supposed to be. But this is their size. Poku, who's like 7 foot, like 190 pounds, and Jalen Williams, who's 6'10, but a rookie. And they have to go up against Jonas Valanciunas. So this is like a twofold for me. On the Raptors side, it's what can Valanciunas do against these young guys here, and
Pelicans.
what can these young guys do against Jonas Valanciunas?
Pelicans and Valanciunas.
What did I say?
Raptors.
Oh, yeah. Looking at the card. Pelicans. Yep.
I got you. I think this will be a very exciting game. I presume this will be a very high-scoring game, most likely. Maybe see Shea go off for 35 points or so. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping to see the Thunder pull this one out. I think it'd be really fun to see that Thunder team in the playoffs and just see what happens. I mean, I think that this like play-in appearance seems to be like a year earlier than maybe we were expecting, or at least I was expecting. And it's cool to see, especially given how loaded they are with picks. Nate, I saw something that said if any trade or if any team is actually going to have the capital to pull off a Luka trade, it'd be the Thunder, given all their draft picks and everything.
That would be
But
so interesting.
Shea and Luka
Luka
on the same team would be crazy. Did you see though that Luka came out today and actually said that he very much so enjoys being in Dallas, and the trade request was a false report that someone cooked up?
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, so he had like his end of season interview or whatever, and he's like, I don't know who said it because it wasn't me.
Oh, well, that's good for Dallas fans.
How cool would this be? Will says, is there an Aaron card and no Nate card? Who do I write to protest this? Can we get Nate in a Bowman Chrome or as a Bowman Chrome auto, preferably in a Bowman or in a Brewers uniform? Jeez, I butchered reading that. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool, Nate. How about that Bowman Chrome Nate first Bowman with a Brewers jersey on?
That would be the most that'd be the most stolen valor thing you've ever seen from anybody in your entire life.
Might be worth more than this custody here is worth now.
That's fair.
All right, next up.
All right, so that is the Western Conference. Now on to the Eastern Conference. Number one, this courtside black 101 just sold the other day on eBay, $6,100.
Wow, Tyler Hero.
Yeah, it's a nice card.
That's a big sale.
But so Tyler Hero is the key to the Heat for me. You can see up above his scoring averages the last couple seasons. Rookie year, 13.5 points, then 15.1, then 20.7, this year 20.1. Then down below, you have his scoring averages from the playoffs in his age 21 and 22 seasons. 12.6 points in his age 22 season, 9.3 points in his age 21 season. What I'm trying to get at here is that while he's been really good in the regular season, he's kind of faltered in the playoffs. And not just point wise either. You can see rebounds down per game, assists down per game, and points down per game. So Tyler Hero to me feels like the key here. If the Heat are going to do anything, they need him to play as well as he does in the regular season.
Agreed.
Yeah. For the Hawks, DeJounte Murray is my guy. You can see his Prism Silver PSA 10 here is down 70, almost 5% in the last year. And the reason for me is because he last played in the playoffs in 2018 with the Spurs. So the 2018-2019 season, he didn't play in the playoffs. 2019-2020, 2020-2021, 2021-2022, and now 2022-2023. It's been 5 years since he was last in the playoffs. They gave up a ton for him, Gallinari plus 3 firsts and a pick swap. And so if you're the Hawks and you're DeJounte Murray, no, you haven't been back to the playoffs in forever. It's been 5 years in the making, and they need you. Trae Young's going to do fine, but they need DeJounte Murray to be what they traded for him. And he was really good this year, don't get me wrong. But after 5 years out of the playoffs and getting traded for, you pretty much need to go out there and be spectacular. At least I think.
These 2016 Prism Silver PSA 10s are some of the most curious price trends to me in the basketball card market because, like, no doubt a lot of Prism Silver PSA 10s, nearly every single one, obviously, got overpriced at one point. But of all of the Prism Silver PSA 10s, these I thought would be the most maybe bulletproof to price drops, which clearly nothing's bulletproof. But the last sale, this one was $140. And that's just within the last 6 months now. It dropped 63%. So that's really just from the start of the NBA season until now. It's down 63%. Obviously, the Hawks, I'd say playing tournament probably was not like the goal. Getting into the top 6 seeds would have been the goal for the Hawks, and they can clearly get themselves into the playoffs still. But there's only 147 of these PSA 10s. That is minuscule compared to many, many Prism Silver PSA 10s that we see for sure nowadays, but compared to even like 2017, it's a lot lower than that too. So we'll see. I mean, the thing about them is that while they have dropped a lot, because of how many less there are than the other years, a price rise could happen for any of these 2016 players like Ingram or Jaylen Brown or Murray or Jamal Murray, either of the Murrays, if they do really well in the playoffs. So let's see.
I agree. Moving on to the Raptors, you've got Jakob Poeltl. And the reason I bring him up, I mean, you could have brought up OG Anunoby or Pascal Siakam or Fred VanVleet or, Scotty Barnes. But I bring up Poeltl because this was the move that kind of shocked people. You're giving up a first-round pick and 2 seconds. Not that 2 seconds are very important, but you're giving up a first-round pick, especially for Poeltl, at the trade deadline when a lot of people expected the Raptors to trade away, not acquire. And the Raptors were reportedly, don't know if this is confirmed or not, but I remember seeing at the time that the Raptors were offered 4 first-round picks for OG Anunoby from the Nets after they acquired Mikal Bridges. So instead of acquiring a ton of picks, you sent out a first-round pick to acquire Jakob Poeltl. And for me, he kind of needs to be the linchpin to make that worth it, so to speak. Or he needs to do something that makes it worth trading that pick. I don't know the protections on it. I don't know if there are protections, how big the protections are or anything, but he needs to do something, or else the Raptors are going to look really silly.
Yeah, and best case scenario, we're looking at the Raptors getting the 8th seed and playing the Bucks in the first round. So, best case is not a good case either way. I mean, they got to beat the Bulls, and they have to beat either the Heat or the Hawks to get there. So,
yeah,
that's
also
a tough road.
Rookie Kings. I know it's a insert, but $20 for a gold out of 10.
I didn't realize that was a gold. And when I looked at it, I thought it was an orange, like out of 199 or something like that. Gold out of 10 for $20. Yeah, he, when I looked at this, I was like, oh, Nate, is he on a different team now? But I totally forgot they got traded back to the Raptors because he was drafted by them.
Yeah, so that's the second guy on this list that's been traded back to the team he was originally on.
Who was the other?
D'Angelo Russell.
Oh, yeah. Correct.
And then lastly, the Bulls. I find the Bulls to be quite possibly, and don't take this the wrong way, John, if you're in here, the least interesting team on this list. by a very, very long shot. So the only guy in their starting five that is remotely interesting to me is Patrick Williams, 21 years old, a lot of talent.
What
We'll see
about
if he
Zach
puts
Levine?
dude, Zach
No.
Levine is what, pushing 30 now?
Once a guy reaches 30 is uninteresting. Man, I can't wait to see what happens with dinging corners in like a couple years.
That's true. Well, no, you're not wrong. Once you hit 30, you're basically dead.
Oh
Here.
my-
But no, I'm not. I don't know. Zach Levine's been around for a while. It's not
yeah.
that interesting to me.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not like
not
a
like
super
I
young
wonder if
Thunder
Zach
team.
Levine's going to hit a new level.
Okay. That's
You
fair.
know,
That's fair.
whereas Patrick Williams, it's like maybe he could hit a new level in the playoffs. Maybe he doesn't. I don't
Oh yeah.
know.
I'm not saying more interesting than Patrick Williams. You just said that no one else is interesting outside of Patrick Williams. You
Oh
don't
well, yeah, that's fair.
you don't want to
I
see
do kind of.
DeRozan from the mid range all game?
I don't.
I
I
don't.
don't. He leaves 12 years for Jackson Churio.
Pat, plenty of time to buy him up.
I like it. But yeah, I don't really have much to say on the Bulls, which is why I have Pat Williams here and a price of 150 for a blue PSA 10. They're just not an interesting team. And especially with the West, somewhat interesting because you have the bottom the bottom teams with talent like the Timberwolves and the Lakers and stuff, and the Thunder are young and exciting. The Bulls don't have the top end talent of a LeBron or an Anthony Davis, and they don't have the youth excitement of a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. So
Right.
it just is what it is.
Nate, now tell me, out of these 8 teams, which 4 are going to be coming out of the play-in tournament into the actual playoffs?
I think it's going to be the Lakers for sure, like pretty much a guarantee. Uh, my heart of heart says Thunder. I would like it to be the Thunder. So Lakers, Thunder, in the West, and then in the East. Honestly, I do think that the Raptors, they've been kind of disappointing, but like the Heat are they're just not a very good team. And I think if a healthy Raptors with a healthy Siakam and a healthy Fred VanVleet and an OG and all those guys, I think I'm taking the Raptors and probably the Hawks.
Got you. All right, I'll go Lakers Wolves. I can't imagine LeBron losing a game and into the playoffs at home. I just can't see it happening to the Wolves, especially down all those guys, including McDaniels now too, Nate. Forgot to bring that one up. No,
Oh yeah, he
McDaniels.
punched a wall.
Yeah, neither, so they're down 3 big guys that play a lot of minutes normally, which is just brutal. I'm going to take Lakers, but I'll take the Wolves. I'll say Townsend and Edwards do enough to score a bunch of points in that second game at home. I would also be shocked if they lost that game at
Because
home.
Karl-Anthony Towns has never disappointed us in high pressure moments before.
Yeah, no, but they won. They did make a play in last year. It's not like they didn't make a play in last year, but still, they have 2 games to do it. They have 2 games to do it. Okay, so I think that they'll do it. And then as for the East, I also kind of doubt Jimmy Butler losing in the play-in, but also like you said, they just haven't been that good. I'll go with the Heat though, because they just beat the Sixers the other night. I don't know, maybe riding some good mojo. Heat and the Hawks, I think, are going to make it into the East. Leave
So
behind the Raptors and
you
Bulls.
did not choose any of the 9 or 10 seeds.
Nope. I don't think any of them win 2 games.
Even though the 7 and 8 seeds are not better or barely at all better.
Yeah, but remember, you have to win 2 games, and also you don't play that last game at home if you're a 9 or 10.
Yeah, I get it, but
That's just what I'm going off of, and I could be wrong. We'll see. We'll wrap it up next week Monday and see who's right or who's wrong. But now, lastly, Nate, to close out this segment, first of all, which player are you excited to watch the most in the play-in tournament of the 8 that you picked here?
Oh, Shea.
You didn't even put Shea on the screen.
I know, but I still want. I understand what you're asking now. I thought you were just asking of anybody I like on any team. Of the players I put on the screen specifically,
probably DeJounte Murray.
Yeah. DeJounte Murray.
But of any player, Shea.
Shea, yeah.
I'm very excited to watch Shea too. And then last question is going to be, who do you want the Bucks to get in the 8 seed from like a easy smash 4-0 sweep?
Any of them?
Any of them. Love it.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about any of those teams.
Fun update, Nate. I'm going to game 2 of the first round.
Oh, that's fun.
Pretty excited about that. But all right, that is it for NBA. Let us know in the comments if you have any thoughts on the NBA play-in tournament. What's up, Ziggy and Pat? Good to see you. I know we addressed your comment earlier, but good to see you. So I want to give a quick shout out here to our Slab Stocks SGC card grading submission that goes out on April 15th. It means we have to have the cards in our hands by April 14th. This is a recent trio we got back that we graded gold out of 15 from Bowman Draft. Is $18 per card for sports cards. That is $12 per card for Pokemon cards. Our website now can take submissions at $12 per card for Pokemon cards specifically. Only submit through the $12 number if it is Pokemon. And also, of course, as always, free autograph grades, no upcharges on the cards post 2000. Slabstocks.com/grading is where you go to submit your orders. If you do want to get in for this upcoming order, go to the website right now, submit your order tonight, ship it out tomorrow. And if you're within the continental United States, it should make it to us in time. And it will go out on that 15th and be turned around pretty quickly to you all within under 2 weeks, pretty much door to door. And then the other thing I want to point out is that in a submission we have coming back from the 330 submission group is this insane 16 card Victor Osimhen lot right here. Striker for Napoli, going to be on a massive move this summer, most likely to like a Man U. I know Chelsea wants to buy him, but I really can't see him coming to us if we finish the season like 10th or 11th. I just don't see it happening. And then the point here is that this is the entire rainbow outside the Red Wave and the Superfractor. So I'm super excited to get this thing back. We'll see how the results go. I'll reveal them all on our grading reveals episode, slab reveals episode that comes out when the submission comes in hand. So excited for that. And make sure to hop on the website, slabstocks.com/grade now to submit for our SGC grading submission. Thank you to anyone submitted so far as well. We have a ton of packages coming in, including text here. So thanks, Tech. Big John says, hey, Big John, you just missed it. Nate kind of was roasting the Bulls earlier, so I'm glad that you missed that. Otherwise, you might not come back again.
That's true.
just kind of messing around wasn't too bad, but it's funny. I mentioned your name. All right.
I did mention John by name before talking about the Bulls.
True. Now just three cards to highlight here for the NHL playoffs. Now, this is not a deep dive in any way, shape, or form. To get the deep dive, you're going to want to go to the Puck Drop episode on our YouTube channel. It comes out this Thursday. It hasn't released yet, but Greg Chodecarts, who is a French-Canadian hockey fan up in Montreal, he hosts our twice or bi-weekly Puck Drop episodes, and he'll be doing an entire playoff look, looking at all the different players that can be affected by the playoffs and who might have the most action to gain. But who we're looking at right here is David Pastrnak, and he just hit 60 goals yesterday. Now, Nate, 2 days ago in our Daily Slab newsletter, I wrote about that Pastrnak needed 3 goals in the last 3 games to hit 60 goals. He got a hat trick yesterday to get all the way up to 60 in 1 game. It's a huge breakout season for him. He's been a nice player for the Boston Bruins, but he has really helped them in a big way because they just got to their 63rd win, which is the most of all time in a single NHL season too. Basically by the win record, that's the best team in the NHL history. They have a plus 124 goal differential. The next closest team is a plus 61, which is just insane. Dude, they've over doubled the next closest team.
63 more goals than the next closest in second place.
They have 63 more goals than the goal differential than the next closest team.
I understand, but
no, it's ludicrous is actually what it is. 63 wins in 80 games so far. They still have 2 games left to play, and they could smash the record for most wins of all time by 3. They're definitely the favorites to win the cup just based off of all that alone, and Pastrnak playing extremely well.
Why is it always the Boston teams? Like, why can't it be like some random team from some random state, like literally anywhere else but Massachusetts?
Sick of the Patriots and Red Sox and all the Celtics
and
too.
The Celtics and the Bruins. Yeah.
But Pasternak's Future Watch PS9 auto numbered out of $9.99. So one sold just 2 yesterday for $780. If you could have bought it in January, it was $570. So that's over $200 just about increase in the last 4 months, which is extremely impressive because he's been good the entire season. There already was some price increases from the start of the season to the start of the year. Now there's even more from the start of the year until the end of the season. So we'll see what happens in the playoffs. but really fun for Bruins fans out there. And then the other guy is Connor McDavid. So now this is the first time for anyone out there that doesn't follow hockey. First time in, I think it's like 20 some years that there was two 60 goal scorers in the same season. So last year, Austin Matthews scored 60 goals, but this year, McDavid and David Pastrnak both scored 60 goals. McDavid also just became the sixth player all time to break 150 points in the season, the first since Mario Lemieux back in the 90s as well, I believe. And yesterday, someone got a really, really good buy on this McDavid on-card auto number of 175 here from Ultimate Collection. It's a pretty sought-after card. If you are in the hockey card market, not as sought after as the Future Watches or the Cup RPAs, or really high-end Young Guns, but it's still sold for $3,250. That's like $2,000 off what it's selling for at the beginning of the season. So honestly, I think that was probably just a really good buy. The other one that sold for around $3,000 had 9 autograph on it. But either way, McDavid is just unbelievable. He actually might be the most dominant player in a given sport in men's competition. You can definitely compare him and Caitlin Clark probably for most dominant between they're giving competitions, because Caitlin Clark just destroyed the women's NCAA tournament as well. So pretty crazy season for him. And then last one I wanted to highlight here is Kirill Kaprizov, because he just came back from injury. He played his first game in over a month, 2 days ago for the Wild. This actually is my card here on the left, which I have had up for sale for since the start of the season, actually, since I acquired the National. I really like Kaprizov, so I have it pretty high, and I haven't gotten an offer close to the amount I want to take yet. But the last sale of this card was $4,000 on November 29th. Now, it's going to be interesting because the Wild, they were in position to win their division, but I don't think that might not happen anymore. They're 4 points off the Avalanche. Avalanche are really coming on strong right before the playoffs start, which is good to see because they won the Stanley Cup last year. They're quite injured most of the season. But we'll see what happens with the Wild and if Kaprizov can carry them pretty deep in the playoffs this year, because last year they did not make it out of the first round, I don't believe, although he did have an insane playoffs. They were just very undermanned last year from a support standpoint. So I'm excited to watch him play, and maybe we'll see. Maybe I get an offer on this card in the playoffs if he does well. All right, we're going to end tonight's live stream off with a third and final segment here, which is called Real or Fake, parentheses, team success. This is related to the MLB. So, Nate, I pulled 4 different teams that have either
the Rays, the Brewers.
You have two of the 4.
Twins?
No.
Oh. All right. I'm not going to keep guessing.
Okay, so I pulled 4 teams here, and I want Nate to tell all of us, is their success so far real or is it fake? Will it continue or will it not? And Nate, it can be for bad too. Like they're playing really bad, but they should be playing well. So maybe now guess 2 more teams if you want to.
Oh. No, I got nothing.
Okay. All right. First one is the Rays. It is, of course, the Rays. They're number 1 in the power rankings from MLB at the end of week 2. They're 9-0. They were ranked 11th last week before going on a 9-game win streak to start the season. Although I heard, Nate, not the best teams they played so far.
They played the A's, the Tigers.
Not
the best.
All right. So you tell me, is it real or fake? And I'm not even talking about them being like halfway good. I'm saying like one of the best teams in the MLB for the entire season.
Well, I definitely think it's real. The Rays are always up there. You have a healthy Wander Franco. You've got a lot of healthy, like the Isaac Paredes and guys like that are in the lineup. They're not going to shock you or awe you, but they're solid major league contributors up and down that lineup. And you have guys like Curtis Mead who might come up later this year, and guys like that. Their pitching is great. Jeffrey Springs has been amazing. And they just managed to always find diamonds in the rough like that. They signed him to a contract extension. So I do, and they have 24 home runs this year. I just saw that earlier today. I think the next closest is 18.
24?
And then it goes to like 16. Yeah.
That's insane.
So they're bopping some home runs. They're getting on base. They have the highest OPS in the majors. They haven't played the best teams, but when you start 9-0, that's a really good head start. Like you're supposed to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And the fact that they didn't lose a couple games to teams they're supposed to beat is a really good sign.
I agree. So as for some card increases here, so Wander Franco, December 6, 2022, his Speckle auto number to have 299, BGS 9.5. So for $1,573. Last night, one sold in the PWCC weekly auction for $2,070. It's a $500 increase in just what is that? 3 months or 4 months? Excuse me. And even ourselves, last I mentioned on Slab Stocks Sundays, anyone that watches both the streams, I know it's a lot to watch the Slab Stocks within 2 days, so not sure how you watch both. But I mentioned that we did throw a couple of our wonders high prices on the market to see what happened with his, increase in play and no injuries. And one of them actually sold today for, I think, almost triple what we paid for it back in December as well. So kind of got a nice buy and a rare card and turned out quite well. So hot starts can definitely lead to good increases in markets too. So definitely watch that if you're one that was buying baseball back in November, December area for players that kind of had injured or disappointing 2022 seasons. All right, next up, Nate.
Oh, real quick. Tech is right. He says, Nate, we got to go to a Spokane Indians baseball game. Great time. Tech, I just looked at the prices. Like $29 a ticket.
For a minor league baseball game?
Yeah.
Dude, I can go to the Brewers for cheaper than that.
Way cheaper.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
well, that was at this point. You don't have to pay for parking, though, which is nice.
Oh, okay. So that's good.
Yeah.
Next up on our real or fake, Nate, Dodgers at 5-5. They actually increased one spot in the power rankings despite starting the season 500. What's crazy is 8 of their 10 games have been against the Diamondbacks. That's a weird start to the season schedule wise. Tell me, is this kind of slow and sleepy start? Is it real? Are they actually going to be kind of or is this a fake start? They're going to really turn it on here pretty soon.
I think it's a fake start. I do expect them to turn it on. Remember, they've got Will Smith, they've got Freddie Freeman, they've got Mookie Betts, they've got JD Martinez. Like that's going to be a really, really good top of your lineup. And then you've got young guys like Miguel Vargas. You still have Max Muncy in there, guys like that. So they've got bats. Now on the pitching side, they also have plenty of pitching. Dustin May is a stud. You know we love Dustin May. You still have Clayton Kershaw. You still have Julio Urias. Noah Syndergaard is there. Now, will they stay healthy? That's the biggest question on the pitching side. I don't trust the pitching health. And it's not as scary of a team as it's been in past years.
Now,
when they had, the Trey Turners and the Corey Seagers and all those guys, it's not as scary. But they're definitely better than 5-5, especially with that pitching.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the pitching staff, and while all nice names, it's like, man, I'm pretty sure all 4 of these guys have been hurt for any number of time over the last 3 years.
Yeah, it's risk. It's risk.
And
but they also have guys behind them. Yeah. Gavin Stone, guys like that in the minors.
They've got Bruce Gratterall as a relief pitcher too, which I know he's not going to be a starter, I don't think. And also Phil Bickford, I can't believe that guy's still playing. Either way, Nate, 3 home runs given up for Clayton Kershaw this year in 2 starts. Concerning or not concerning?
How many home runs has Corbin Burns given up?
Yeah, also probably 3. Just asking. And his gold refractor auto sold last night. This is the 9.5 from 2006. It sold for $15,000 last night, which is actually a $5,000 increase since 2021. So congrats if you bought this in 2021. To hold for 2 years through the last 2 years of the market and make $5,000. Pretty nice indeed. And Will says it's not just 9-0. They're winning every game by 4+ runs. I think it's a record. That team is going to roll this year and then losing the playoffs to World WC team that gets hot, a wild card team that gets hot. So funny enough is that what you just kind of said is almost how our next team has been this year, the Brewers, where Nate, our wins, man, have been 4+ every single game, it feels. And then we've just got the Cardinals where we went against a lefty. And I think, Nate, dude, our lineup against lefties is not good. It's not good.
That will happen. That's okay. We'll still win a couple of them depending on who's starting pitching.
Yeah.
We might win it 2-1. We might win it 1-0, but we'll win some.
Because Lauer was pitching last game and gave up a couple home runs early, which just instantly put us out of it.
Yeah. And there's also not as many left-handed starters as right-handed starters.
Exactly. So we might face it, every 5 games or something like that. So let me tee it up here. So Brewers, ranked by MLB, we were 14 last week in the power rankings. We increased 6. I think it might be the single biggest increase on the list. 7-2 start, still have us below teams like the Dodgers and the Padres. Is this start for real? This beating good teams, or were the other teams, meaning the Mets and the Cardinals, were they underperforming, or the Brewers man, for real, they were kind of taking it to them?
Well, let me start with Are the Cardinals the next team, perchance?
They're not, but they were one of the two options. I kept the Cardinals out.
Okay, so the
To talk
Cardinals
about.
pitching is just not that exciting. Um, their rotation consists of Jordan Montgomery, Jack Flaherty, Miles Mikolas, Jake Woodford, and Steven Matz. Quite literally, the only person I'm worried about in that entire rotation is Jack Flaherty.
He walked 6 guys against us.
Yeah. So it's not like the Cardinals. I don't necessarily think the Cardinals are underperforming. I think people had over expectations of their rotation. And if some guys get hurt, they don't exactly have the depth that you would need. So I don't.
Wait. Speaking of hurt, I can't believe you even mentioned to me. Aaron Ashby's out for the season, bro.
Yeah, shoulder.
That's
Yeah, I didn't
devastating.
bring it up because it's bumming me out.
I had no idea, man. That's
Yeah.
Is Hauser healthy? I haven't even seen him yet this year.
No, he's not healthy yet. He'll be in the bullpen though when he becomes healthy.
Yeah, but I was looking forward to Hauser and Ashby bullpen. That's loaded.
It would be. But that's you bring up another point. So Cardinals, I don't think that was underachievement. And as for the Mets, they spent a lot of money. But like you look at that lineup, and like Brandon was a very good player, right? Pete Alonso is a very good player, and Francisco Lindor is a very good player. But they're also the type of guys that kind of go on hot streaks, cold streaks, and you're worried about them. You're worried about Pete Alonso hitting a bomb, but you're not worried about Pete Alonso like the way you're worried about Aaron Judge or Mike Trout. And you're not worried about any of those guys in the way you're worried about some of those other big name stars, Shohei Ohtani. Which Ohtani, did you see his home run yesterday?
Mm-mm.
Dude, this thing was like 6 inches inside the strike zone. And he hit it for a home run. He's left-handed, and he hit it for a home run left center, even though it was 6 inches inside on him.
That's insane.
Like, that's like the type of ball that you pop up, you pull foul, you pull for a home run, and he hit it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So as for the Brewers, their pitching rotation, we all know, is going to be good. Mm-hmm. Right? We just know the pitching rotation is going to be good. And if you have a good pitching rotation, you're likely going to be a pretty good team. The bullpen, I didn't expect to be amazing, but you have Devin Williams at the back end, and you always find one or two guys that's going to blow up in a year, no matter what happens for every bullpen every single season.
Like Strzelecki, is he really good?
Yeah, Peter Strzelecki is really good.
Yeah.
But the Brewers bullpen, by and large, has been amazing this year. In fact, in 9 games, they have a .87 ERA, 0.87 ERA. The Brewers bullpen, first in the National League. They are 4th in starter ERA in the National League, and therefore first in team ERA in the National League. They're also like 2nd in runs scored in the National League. Now, I don't know how often they're going to keep. I don't know if their offense is going to keep this up with young guys. They usually do pretty well, and then you get more book on them, and all of a sudden you know exactly where they can't hit the ball, right? And you just start popping that zone. So, like, will Bryce Terang, will Garrett Mitchell, will Joey Wiemer keep this up? I don't know. Will a guy like Brian Anderson keep this up? I don't know. But we also haven't had a ton of production from the William Contrerases, the Rowdy Telezes of the world, where even if they falter off a little bit, we can still get production from guys that haven't been producing. Yeah. And maybe stay even. And Contreras, the young guys. What?
I was just going to say Contreras had a nice game yesterday. He was just kind of hitting singles at the start of the season. Yesterday, he got him basically 3 times.
Yeah. And Yelich, too. He wasn't hitting for power. Then he finally hit a home run yesterday. Mm-hmm. So it's like as long as the young guys keep playing defense and take their occasional walks and slap some singles and maybe run into a home run, I don't care what they do on offense, as long as the other guys start hitting like we expect them to. And then anything we get from the Joey Wiemers, from the Garrett Mitchells, from the Bryce Terangs is cherry on top. Do I think we're like one of the best teams in the baseball? No. Do I think we're a playoff team? Yes.
That's exciting. Honestly, like this year, my expectations were actually kind of nothing coming into the season, especially after not spending a single dollar in free agency until Wade Miley, and then we signed Brian Anderson too, I think. And if we were, let's say, win the division,
combined were $7 million or something like that.
And those were only 2 bigger signings, I think. If we were to win the division, I would be ecstatic. And anything in the playoffs is just cherry on top. But we win the division coming
Well,
to
I think so. With O'Neal Cruz now being injured,
hey, by the way, Pirates aren't in this list, but are they kind of for real?
I'm not going to say the Pirates are for real or not. I will say you do expect them a couple years into the rebuild now, and with the Reds as well, you kind of expect them to be a little bit more frisky, right? So the easy wins we might have used to get from the Pirates, from the Reds, are no longer going to be there. But they're
I'm
not
not
going
gonna
to be
lie.
there for the Cardinals or the Cubs either.
We weren't winning those games a lot of the time last year, dude.
We weren't, but we were before that.
Yeah.
There was a while there in 2018, 2019, 2020 where we were like 15-2 against the Pirates in a year type of thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But with O'Neal Cruz out for the Pirates, that's a blow to them. I think the NL Central is just really, really, really weak. I know we beat the Mets, but the NL Central is just weak. And people are expecting things out of the Cubs. I just don't understand why. The Cardinals, their pitching staff just isn't that spectacular. Their offense is great. Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Brendan Donovan, Lars Nootbaar, Tommy Edman, Jordan Walker. Like, their offense should be amazing, but their pitching staff just isn't like the most spectacular thing to write home about. So, like, it's just not a deep division, and I do think the Brewers could easily win this division.
Got you. And just to cover a price rise here for the Brewers. So Brian Anderson, of course, I think he had a really, really good rookie season, or second year it was, for the Marlins back in
He had
2018.
a couple good seasons before injuries the last 2 years.
Yeah, so his Red Wave, though, during the injury periods, you could have bought it. This is a Red Wave finest autograph. Sold for $52, numbered out of 5. It just sold for $140. That's 6 days ago. Really hot start to the year. 3 home runs at home, I think. 2 in 1 game. And honestly, it's really making this Luis Urias injury look like nothing. And I know that once he comes back, he won't be starting. But that's another bat, at least in the team. Not like a crazy bat. Obviously, more of a defensive player, I'd say, than a hitting player.
Major league depth.
Yeah.
A lot of teams don't employ major league players for depth.
Yeah.
So
I agree. So
also Brian Anderson, even if he doesn't keep hitting, that dude has a cannon at third base, and he looks pretty good there. So
and he can play right field too if needed.
Yeah. So what's really nice about the Brewers, real quick, one last thing, is that their pitching is great, and it seems like their defense is really good. And even like their biggest question mark, William Contreras, his early season pitch framing numbers are like top 10 in the league.
Which is crazy because I thought he wasn't supposed to be good at defense at all.
You know who else wasn't supposed to be good at defense?
Who?
Omar Narvaez. You know who became one of the best defensive catchers in baseball after coming to the Brewers?
Omar Narvaez.
Omar Narvaez. So I did expect the Brewers to figure out William Contreras. I didn't know how quick it would be. Seems like it's been pretty quick.
That's good, man. We'd love to see him be another all-star catcher again. Now for us this year instead of the Braves. All right, last team here. Now I got the Phillies because they started 3-6. They dropped from 8 to 13. So we pretty much switched roles with the Phillies in the power rankings. They shot us up to where they were, dropped them down to where we were. And Trey Turner, of course, at the Great World Baseball Classic, prices go up. People finally recognize how good he is. I'm not saying that he's not good, but at all. But he hasn't had the greatest start to the MLB season, given that he's one of 4 or 5 Phillies players, Nate, that have struck out over 10 times this year. They've had a lot of strikeouts as a team.
Strikeout. Psych out. That's what I say about that.
Just saying.
I'm not worried about the Phillies. They still have Kyle Schwarber. They still have JT Realmuto. They still have Trey Turner. They have Alec Baum. They've got Nick Castellanos and Brandon Marsh. And no, they don't have their first baseman that I can't remember his name now because he tore his ACL and is out for the
entire Rhys Hoskins.
But their offense is just too good. Aaron Nola is a bona fide frontline starter. They will be just fine in the long run, even if guys like Trey Turner are struggling to start the year.
And also Bryce Harper still has to come back.
And yeah, Bryce Harper's not healthy.
All right. Rapid fire last thing, Nate, and then I'll talk about our last slide. Which of these teams finishes with the best record this year between the Rays, the Dodgers, the Brewers, and the Phillies?
Well, I'm a homer, so the Brewers.
Oh, look at that. Okay, legitly, who finishes with the best record between the Rays and the Dodgers?
Uh, that's tough. Like the Diamondbacks seem a lot more scrappy. Um, the Padres are obviously supposed to be one of the best teams in baseball, so like those aren't easy wins. You got the Rockies who can always, I don't know, maybe sneak out a win or two at home against a team like the Dodgers. But then you have on the other side the Orioles are good, the Yankees are good, the Blue Jays are good, like really good. I do end up thinking that, it's just too tough of a division. AL is just too tough in general. Uh I think it's going to be the Dodgers.
Okay, got you. Thank you for the input, and thanks for playing that game. Uh, Cool says guaranteed all-star market. I hope you're talking about William Contreras.
Talking
And
about Bryson Stott, I think.
oh, I see.
Oh wait, no, that was Pat B. Sorry. I'm just looking at the gray bubbles and didn't look at the letters inside it or the names.
Yeah, I think he was talking about Contreras. And then Matthew says, "What are your thoughts on buying Tatis? Is he a person you should avoid buying?" Matthew, here's our thoughts. We bought one card of Tatis when his prices were down quite a bit after the suspension. We bought it on Slab Stocks Sundays. Oh, that is true. You're
He
right.
was talking about Bryson Stott. Never mind.
Yep. Um, we bought one card to Tatis when his prices were way down in the offseason after the suspension, and that card we are hoping to sell it here pretty soon as he's coming back to play. So in my opinion, I just would rather make money on Tatis in the short run than buy him to have people switch their thoughts on him as time goes on. I mean, it can happen. It happened with A-Rod. His cards went back up after the suspension, but we'll see.
And the thing Tatis has going for him is that he's so young.
That is true. Lots of time to reconvince people of his maturity or play on the field, whatever you want to call it. All right. Last thing for the day. I appreciate everyone coming here. I just want to give our whatnot schedule for the week. So if you want to hang out with us the rest of the week, of course you can do so. You know, we're live pretty much every single day of the week now, except for Saturdays and sometimes Fridays between YouTube and whatnot. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we've actually have 4 straight days of streams. Tuesday, tomorrow, Nate's doing a Chrome F1 hobby, pick your team case. And just about all those teams, other than like 40 spots, have sold for that case. So if you do like Formula One and want to get on a case break with the best prices you can find, that's what we try to do for everything. You can go grab those teams right now. They are available to buy. Wednesday, I'm returning with my next soccer singles sale. There are some really, really, really cool cards in it. It's under 100 this time because this is kind of like a hybrid show before the really, really big show at the end of the month. So make sure to come and join my stream on Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, and find some good soccer deals. Really, really like wheeling and dealing live on the stream as well. So you can buy the best deals you can see right now in the store, or you can come live to the stream to offer for them. And then Thursday, I'm actually been doing Topps first edition soccer boxes because mine will be coming in before then. So now I switch up Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern time to do the Topps first edition club competitions. We'll be doing a pick your team break on that. Teams for that should be listed tomorrow, I hope. And I'll be breaking that on Thursday. I have 6 boxes. And then Friday, this is got an asterisk on it because the plan is to do 4 p.m. Eastern time for Topps Dynasty Baseball release day with Nate. This is a really big set this year because this has got your rookie patch auto, on-card, game-worn patch autos of guys like Julio Rodriguez, Wander Franco, O'Neal Cruz, probably forgetting like Jeremy Pena. Bobby Witt. There we go. I couldn't think.
Bryson Stott, who we just talked about, will be in
Bryson
there.
Stott, future Hall of Famer, of course. According to Cool, but I'm just messing around. But that's a big release. Probably the biggest baseball release left for sure from 2022, I assume. And I'm excited to watch that stream. So 4 p.m. Eastern time is the time we're putting on it right now, although that could be subject to change a few hours in either direction. So basically the best thing to do if you don't have the Whatnot app, you can click the link in the description and get to our Whatnot page, save all the different streams throughout the week, and you'll get notifications when we go live for any of them. But that's what we got going on this week. And I'm pretty excited about that. Nate, how you feeling about ripping some Dynasty? Excited?
Oh, I'm so excited. I know it's only 10 cards in the 2 cases, but I'm hoping for at least 1-1-1. Maybe 2.
Wander logo, man. Nate loses his mind. Probably runs away.
I'd probably die right on the spot.
Yeah, he would die right on the spot. I'd have to fly to Washington and help get that card delivered and forget about Nate, actually.
Yeah.
MKEM says Bo Bichette 30-year cards. Bo Bichette 30-year cards. I'm sure there'll be a Bo Bichette patch autograph in the set among dual patch autos and different things like that. Should have some really, really cool checklist triple autographs. I hope again. There was an Ohtani, Albert Pujols, and Mike Trout from I think 2 years ago. So hopefully see something cool like that as well. That's all we got for today. Come find us the rest of the week on Whatnot. Obviously, join us back here next Sunday for Slab Stocks Sundays. We appreciate y'all for watching. We'll see you all throughout the week on the different live streams.
See you guys.